Good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
Yes, hello, thanks for joining us. Here are tonight's main stories.
It's emerged police were told about death threats to a young mother 9 days before she was murdered in front of her baby son.
The police watchdog is investigating whether there were missed opportunities to safeguard Kulsuma Akhtar before she died.
On shaky ground, the major landslip in North Yorkshire that's putting livelihoods on the line.
£10,000 a week down to maybe 3. I had 28 full-time staff. I've now got 23 part-time staff.
Evans above, we'll hear from Rotherham boss Steve, an old face aiming to bring new hope to the Millers.
And screeching for the stars, how 9-year-old Cooper is vying to become Europe's best seagull caller. First tonight, the police watchdog has begun an investigation into whether there were missed opportunities to protect a woman murdered as she pushed her baby son in a pram through Bradford city centre.
Kulsuma Akhtar was stabbed to death in broad daylight on a Saturday afternoon almost 2 weeks ago. Well, our reporter Katie Oscroft is outside Bradford's main police station for us tonight. What have we learnt from today then, Katie?
Well, Lara, it has emerged that police are being investigated, that's West Yorkshire Police, as to whether they missed any opportunities to protect Kulsuma Akhtar in the days and weeks before she died. We now know that 9 days before she was killed, there were reports of death threats against her. The police did investigate. They said the area was searched, but no suspect was found. The Independent Office for Police Conduct will look at this response and whether there was enough done to safeguard her. They are working closely with her family. They say they are liaising with them and they will continue to do so. Now, 25-year-old Habiba Masum has already appeared in court, charged with the murder of Kulsuma Akhtar. He's also charged with possessing a knife.
So what happens now, Katie?
Well, in detail, Lara, the IOPC says it will look at what the police knew about any breach of bail and at the response by West Yorkshire Police to those death threats, including, of course, what steps were taken to safeguard Kulsuma Akhtar. Now, remember, she was killed as she walked in broad daylight on a Saturday afternoon on Westgate in Bradford. She was pushing her baby son in a pram. He was unharmed in the incident, but she died from her injuries. Now, what followed was a nationwide manhunt that resulted in the arrest of a man in Buckinghamshire. The legal process also continues. Habiba Masum appeared in court in Bradford. He remains in custody and a provisional trial date has been set for him in November.
Katie, thank you very much in Bradford there.
A woman's appeared in court charged with murder after a man's body was found after a fire at a house in Bradford. The man was discovered dead at the house on Shetland Close on Tuesday. Susan Paul, who's 52, has been charged with his murder. A 26-year-old man who was also arrested in connection with the death has been released on bail.
Meanwhile, a man's appeared in court charged with murder more than a year after a teenager was stabbed to death in Leeds. 18-year-old Jamie Mear was attacked after his taxi was forced to stop by another vehicle in Armley in March last year. Renee Wilkes, who's 22, has been charged with murder and the attempted murder of a 16-year-old boy. He was remanded in custody to appear before Leeds Crown Court next Tuesday. Officers are still searching for 3 other suspects.
And of course, you can catch up on all the day's news over on our website. Just head to itv.com/calendar. That's itv.com/calendar.
Next tonight to the landslip that's costing jobs, thousands of pounds of losses and potentially entire livelihoods in North Yorkshire.
Yes, the landslip, the second in just a few years on the main road between Harrogate and Skipton, means part of the A59 has now been closed for 11 weeks.
There's growing anger that plans for a new route to replace the current road, approved a year ago, haven't yet been put into place, as Helen Steele reports.
This restaurant relies on the people passing outside to come in. The trouble is, not much is passing by.
Well, the road is obviously a lot quieter than normal. We would normally see anywhere between sort of 8 to 10,000 cars a day passing on this route.
It's now a fraction of that. That's because of a second landslip damaging the A59 between Harrogate and Skipton. The road closure is a few miles from Mark Trickett's restaurant, but the impact is huge.
So, Teresa, you run this place with Mark.
Yes.
How has it affected you?
Well, you can see the place is empty. We've gone from maybe 200-300 customers a day, walk in, walk out, to 20, 30, £10,000 a week down to maybe 3,000.
Any staff?
And staff, well, yeah, I had 28 full-time staff. I've now got 23 part-time staff.
Well, this is the section of road causing all the problems. The landslip is a few hundred metres behind me and it's still being worked on. North Yorkshire Council says it could be June before it's sorted. Now, it's a relatively short section of road, but the problems continue far beyond it. Mark's restaurant is over this side, but over there on the Skipton side, the financial losses are being felt there too.
From the closure, the journey to Billy Bob's parlour at Bolton Abbey should have taken a few minutes. Instead, it took 45. Here, they've had dozens of cancelled parties, tables, and overall numbers are massively down.
The year is just starting to build after the quieter period of the winter. This is the time when we start to build into spring and summer as it gets busier. And for that to be curtailed at this time will have a knock-on effect into we need to build our reserves throughout the year to get through those leaner times.
Next door, these ice cream vans are normally hired out across North Yorkshire, but it's costing too much in extra petrol and time.
Not only does it cost us more to get to some places, the places that we're trying to get to have got less customers there. So, yeah, we're really feeling it.
North Yorkshire Council has apologised for severe disruption and said its contractors are working extended hours to get the job done.
And council response, what do you make of that?
The council response, I think, has been very lacklustre so far. They've put some press releases out. For all intents and purposes, to me, that's just eloquent rhetoric.
Businesses along the A59 now want to hear fewer words and see more action, claiming financial support is now the only way forward. Helen Steele, ITV News in North Yorkshire.
OK, you're watching Friday night's calendar. Still to come on the programme before 6:30. Prickly Peril. Find out how you can play a part in ensuring hedgehogs like this one have a brighter future.
And in the weather, a bit drizzly today, some sharp showers around and breezy as well. Some might go so far as to say windy at the coast, but then things did brighten up and it looks like it's going to be a mixed weekend as well, but there should be a splash of sunshine. All the details to follow shortly.
Thank you, Emma. We'll hear from her shortly. Now, 2 major roads through the city of York are set to close for the next 2 weekends to transform the entrance of the main train station. Parts of Station Road and Queen Street Bridge will be closed from 8 p.m. tonight until Monday morning. The same closures will be in place next week. Work is taking place to complete a diversion road through what was part of the station car park and to remove Queen Street Bridge.
Around 3 in 4 trains connecting West Yorkshire to London and Edinburgh will be cancelled tomorrow because of strike action. Train drivers who are members of the ASLEF union are walking out in an ongoing dispute over pay and conditions. There'll also be a ban on overtime over the weekend. LNER will only run 26% of its usual timetable.
Now, it provides support to patients and their loved ones at the end of their lives. But now a fundraising campaign has begun for a West Yorkshire hospice in need of some care itself.
Yes, Overgate Hospice in Halifax has revealed plans for a £12 million new build on its existing site, but needs a £3 million top-up of funds to pay for it. Sally Simpson went along to find out more.
It's already a much valued facility in the heart of Calderdale. But there are plans to make Overgate Hospice bigger and better at a cost of £12.75 million. It currently accommodates 12 beds in shared space, an outdated model which patients and families say needs to change. Julia Hudson's husband Philip spent his final months here after he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He was initially placed on the shared ward, but Julia says he had a much better experience when he was moved to the hospice's only family room.
As soon as he was moved to a room on his own, which was just up there, completely different because we could kind of move in and just make it a home from home feel. So that is so important. That made the biggest difference to him being able to settle and feel comfortable. When you're in the darkest time of your life, you don't want to be around strangers, you don't want to listen to other people suffering, and you don't want to have them share your suffering. It's very painful and very private. So having those facilities will just make all of the difference, I think, to patients and their families.
More than £9 million has already been secured, and today the big build appeal launches in a bid to find the remaining £3 million. The new hospice will include 16 individual bedrooms with ensuite facilities, more spacious rooms for larger families to stay overnight in, and tech-ready rooms to create a home from home for patients and their loved ones.
Overgate already delivers really high quality care. It's an amazing place. We deliver care that is of high quality, it's compassionate and it's kind, but our facilities really let us down. They're outdated and they restrict the amount of admissions, so we need a better hospice for Calderdale. So the hospice has been in Calderdale for 43 years now. We think with the new development we'll be able to deliver care for the next 40 years.
Someone you know will need this service at some point in your lifetime, and to give them the best possible death that they can have is just the greatest gift you can give to somebody.
Overgate is now relying on the support of the Calderdale community and beyond to help them reach their target. Sally Simpson, ITV News, Halifax.
I'm sure the community will get behind them on that one.
Yeah, certainly you would hope so. Yeah, now, of course, if you haven't noticed already, it is Friday night, so I don't know whether you've got any big plans for the weekend, perhaps a gig, a live concert, a bit of comedy, but how do you feel if you got there and couldn't actually see the act?
Yeah, that would be pretty disappointing, wouldn't it? Well, that's the case for many people with disabilities who say it's a total lottery as to whether the venue can actually provide accessible seating and even parking.
What's even more shocking, though, is that some buildings don't even have wheelchair-accessible toilets. Chris Conway reports.
It should be a night of entertainment and enjoyment, a chance for all to take in a live show. But for Terry Lee from Sheffield, making an accessible booking is a challenge. Her autism means she sometimes needs an extra ticket for her carer, but finds they're often reserved for those whose disabilities require use of a wheelchair.
For booking where you want to sit, or even standing, for them tickets, you can't always have accessible tickets because they don't do them for standing.
Terry Lee's concerns come as a new study by the Research Institute for Disabled Consumers paints a picture of the challenges faced attending live events. The charity found that when booking, 41% of people surveyed were not given clear information about accessible parking at their venue. A quarter of respondents said once inside there were no accessible toilets, while 31% reported their accessible seats had an obstructed view.
For a disabled person, there's often more complexity, more steps put in the way. And I think there's a lot that we can do as society to really begin to understand the different access needs and impact of how we design products and services to make them more accessible. We always say at RIDC, if you make it accessible for disabled people, it's accessible for everyone.
One venue recognised nationally for well-designed accessibility features is the Glasshouse in Gateshead. Clarence, who was left paralysed after a car accident, helped with the building design, including lowered counters at the box office,
doors opening,
wider lift access and removable seats for wheelchairs inside its concert halls.
The view here is fantastic. There's nobody sitting in front of me. And also, these boxes work very well. If it's a pop concert, people are going to stand up. I've been in places where you get segregated. All the wheelchairs at the front, please, or all the wheelchairs at the back.
Despite the age of some buildings making it harder to improve accessibility, Clarence argues in those instances, staff training can make a big difference.
Staff are very important. The staff here have been trained in quite a lot of areas, and so they're not too scared to see somebody in a wheelchair or different, they're trained to understand and to react to people with different complicated needs.
The Research Institute for Disabled Consumers will continue to work with the entertainment industry. They want to put an end to disabled people facing an accessibility lottery when trying to enjoy live events. Chris Conway, ITV News.
Must be so frustrating.
Really frustrating, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's time for sport now, and is the magic of the FA Cup fading?
Zero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Well, Chris is with us now, and of course, FA Cup semi-final weekend, but the talk isn't necessarily about what's going to happen on the pitch. I mean, it's around controversy about the future of the competition.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. Pretty much universal condemnation about this decision from the Football Association to scrap replays from the first round proper. Many clubs openly expressed their disappointment. Bradford City, one of those, who point out how for lower league clubs, replays not only provide what they describe as potentially game-changing income, but also lasting memories for fans.
I think at a time where there is alleged desire for sustainability and financial viability in the pyramid, it's a very strange move. I think the FA really should look deeply at what they've done here, reconsider, and remind themselves the millions of others that they represent as well.
Well, in response, the FA have said they understand the concerns and will be sharing information with the clubs on how new revenue will be generated.
Meanwhile, Chris, then it's a new era at Rotherham, but, well, an old face, dare I say it.
Familiar face. We've heard from Steve Evans this afternoon for the first time since his return to the Millies earlier this week. He gave a press conference this afternoon alongside Chairman Tony Stewart and his assistant Paul Rayner. And afterwards, I managed to grab a few words with Rotherham's new manager. I started by asking why he came back.
Well, we've come back to the New York Stadium to bring winning football. You know, this club to me was about winning. The people of Rotherham, the supporters, loving every minute of it, every week, excitement, energy, high energy in the team. So we've come back together to work with the board and your chairman Tony Stewart to help produce that. And listen, you know, there's exciting times coming, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
It's been a fairly wretched, miserable season all told for Rotherham. Can you guarantee it won't be like that next season?
Well, there's no guarantees in football. There's no guarantees in life. What we will be a team that wins football matches. You can't guarantee promotion, but we'll be competing for promotion at this time next season.
You've got a few games left this season, though, starting against Birmingham at home tomorrow. You're looking forward to seeing those fans again?
We're going to need every one of our supporters tomorrow. You know, Birmingham are still fighting for survival in the Championship, but we're fighting for our own needs, which is goals, wins, good performances all round, and get these supporters back believing in the future.
Yeah, it's too late for Rotherham this season, but you could do Sheffield Wednesday and Huddersfield Town a bit of a favour tomorrow.
Well, you know, I don't like doing Sheffield Wednesday favours. I don't like doing any team favours. You know, that's why often I'm described as opposition fans don't like me, because I want to win. My job is to win for Rotherham United tomorrow. Steve, good luck tomorrow. Good luck for your time at Rotherham. Good to see you again. Thank you. Once a Miller, always a Miller, eh? Knows how to appease those fans, doesn't he? Well, Rotherham will be playing in League One next season. The question is, will Huddersfield or Sheffield Wednesday? Both teams currently occupy the other two relegation spots. Huddersfield are at home to Swansea tomorrow, Wednesday at Blackburn on Sunday.
We're all in it together, like I keep repeating, but I'm sure we'll be all right, because I think we've got a lot of experience in our team, so I think the experience will help us through that.
It's just 1 point, and I have no doubt that we can do this. Yeah, the belief and the trust in my team, it's big. It's really big, and I think this is what I can give my team.
Now, forget Manchester City, forget Arsenal, forget Liverpool. The form team in the country are Doncaster Rovers. Now, this is the very definition of a late season surge. They've won their last 8 League Two matches to put them on the brink of a playoff spot, when only a few weeks ago they were worrying about relegation. Tomorrow, They're at home to Barrow, who currently occupy one of the 4 playoff places.
With our fans behind us and supporting us and pushing us on, I think the players will go all the way and give them everything like they have done. So I'm really looking forward to it. You know, it's a next one for us. Next one we hopefully can win, but we understand it's going to be very tough.
Incredible story, that one. Just before I go, not a good start to the day for Yorkshire in their county championship match at Middlesex, all out for 159. Both Joe Root and Harry Brook failing to make double figures. Not good for them.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble if those two aren't performing.
All firing, you're right,
Yeah.
you're right. And the snooker starts tomorrow, World Championship snooker at the Crucible.
Does it?
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Exciting times.
Certainly is, isn't it? It's all happening.
Thanks for the heads up.
Now we've got the human seagull coming up in just a moment,
Don't
but
miss
next,
it.
yes, do not miss it. But we are next turning our attention to hedgehogs.
Yes, we're being encouraged to help work out why there's such a drastic decline in their population. I didn't realise there was actually, but apparently so. Now trail cameras are being set up in Mansfield to try and capture photographic evidence of their movements. Here's Raheem Rashid.
Have you spotted one of these recently? If so, the National Hedgehog Monitoring Programme wants to know. Hedgehog populations are in decline, with numbers in rural areas falling by up to 3/4 since 2000, and scientists are still trying to work out why.
Hedgehogs are generalists. They eat insects and vertebrates, but also a few other things as well. And so if they're in decline, it's a good sign that actually the environment's in a poor state and that's in decline.
Dr. Pringle's team have launched a national survey to track where hedgehogs live and to understand why populations are plummeting, and they're asking for your help.
Volunteers will go onto this system and be able to help us identify what animals are in there.
Volunteers are now being trained to install cameras at around 40 monitoring sites across the country during the 3-year project.
And each camera can hold up to 25,000 images.
It's important because obviously it's making sure that the students are aware of the different conservation possibilities that are out there and also helping out with different animal conservation.
I think they are very cool animals and they look very cute and small.
If a hedgehog was to run past us right now, how often are you capturing images?
Yeah, so this is a very smart device, but at the same time very simple, and it's working. These are motion activated cameras. So basically here you've got the sensor, and once the animal such as hedgehog, badger, fox or hare passes through the sensor, it activates the camera and is taking a sequence of pictures.
There are millions of pictures to go through, and despite artificial intelligence being used to spot the difference between a squirrel and a fox, that's where you come in.
So if you want to get involved in the Hedgehog Monitoring Programme, then head to the National Hedgehog Monitoring Programme's website, where once logged in, you'll be able to start swiping through some of the pictures that have been captured by those cameras up and down the country. And if they're hedgehogs, then label them as such, and that data will then be passed on to the team so they can build up a picture of where the hedgehogs are across the country.
This is the first time that camera trapping has been used on a national scale, so that's really exciting. If it was up to us to look through millions of images, you know, that could take months. So, you know, it's massively important for people to help, and it's great because you can do it from the comfort of your own home.
The results of the groundbreaking survey will mean scientists can put practical measures in place to protect the mammals, in the hopes our hedgehog populations can once again prosper. Raheem Rashid, ITV News.
Well, staying with hedgehogs.
When hedgehogs are really poorly, they actually all face the same way.
One rescue centre in East Yorkshire is educating everyone on spotting sick hedgehogs and boosting their numbers.
And of course you can watch the full report on all the work going on at the World's Hedgehog Rescue over on ITVX. Just head to the news section and select the calendar region.
Now, just before we go, this is my favourite story of the week, actually. We wanted to say good luck to 9-year-old Cooper from Chesterfield, who is on his way to the European gull screeching competition. Yes, I did say gull screeching competition in Belgium.
Yes, you've got to see this to believe it. He's the youngest and first ever overseas competitor to take part in the event. And I think we'll agree, he's pretty good at it.
He's amazing, isn't he? Well,
we've peaked.
He's just amazing. So a jury of 5 will judge him, and they will choose the winner. It's the 4th time that this competition has ever been held, and we'll bring you the results, of course.
Yes, we'll let you know on Monday. OK, let's get the weather now. Here's Emma.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello there. Well, Friday evening is here. The weekend has arrived. I do not know where this week has gone. I'm sure you're the same. We've had a few showers today, and it's a bit of a mixed weekend as well. Although we saw some sunshine this afternoon, it has been pretty breezy out there. The wind eases down tonight, except at the coast. Mostly fine and dry then for Saturday. Quite a bit of sunshine around, but also cooler and cloudier on Sunday. Maybe some drizzle, possibly some patchy frost by night as well. So then really what the jet stream shows is that temperatures remain pretty disappointing over the next few days. The jet stream arches up over Iceland, giving us this northerly flow. We hold on to those blues for a few days and into the start of next week, which means that things are a bit cool for the time of year, temperatures 2 or 3 degrees below where they should be. So taking a closer look at the next few hours, skies clear, any showers fade away. Maybe an odd shower at the coast early doors, but certainly through the early hours of the morning, dry, widespread frost and maybe 1 or 2 pockets of air frost, down to -2, -3 Celsius out in the countryside. Those are the temperatures through towns and cities, though. Into tomorrow then, the sun's up at 5:53. Make the most of the sunshine. It's going to be a chilly, bright start. However, with variable amounts of cloud bubbling up later in the day, because it's been cold to start off with, it's going to feel quite chilly under any cloud. The coast doesn't fare too badly there. Breeze is lighter, except at the coast tomorrow. Still 15-20 mile an hour gusts here, and feeling a little bit on the chilly side. After that, we've got an occlusion sticking a bit of a fly in the ointment, coming in from the north there, as you can see, pushing some cloud down into Yorkshire and across the Pennines there. That does mean there's a bit of a question mark over cloud amounts on Sunday, but could be some dampness as well, some light drizzle, and more in the way of drizzle and showery rain on Monday. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Thanks, Emma. Well, it looks like good weather for seagulls, doesn't it?
Certainly does. I do hope that the Belgian seagulls don't have an accent, which rules him out of the competition.
Yeah.
Who knows? That's it for now. Charlene's next. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.